Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome to one of my pre-patch 5.9 videos. Now this is going to be one of two. In this video we are going to be talking about some of the reworks for the Uncanny X-Men, and why is Phoenix on here? She's not actually getting a rework, so this is really unfortunate. This is why she's here in the intro. Unfortunately, she is not getting a rework. However, some of the other members of the Uncanny X-Men are getting a rework. I also want to talk about Magik Kit again, for those people who are unfamiliar with her. And there will be another video, a part 2 video, a second video, not for Uncanny, but we will be talking about the Ravagers rework. So do check out that video if you are interested in the Ravagers and T'Challa. Both videos will be up on my channel at the same time, so do check that out as we get prepared for patch 5.9 really any minute now. So without further ado, let's get this one started. Okay, so first off, I just want to draw your attention to the Magik blog post that came out on November 19th, because this is where we're going to take a quick look at the Magik Kit, in case you guys are unfamiliar or you don't remember what she actually includes. So we're going to scroll down and talk about her really quick, and then we're going to jump over to the Uncanny rework, and thirdly, we're going to talk about how the base kits, the base stats have been improved across the board for the characters. It isn't super significant, I will say that up front, and then I want to talk about some of the notes and how I feel about the characters going forward. So, basic Soul Ward Strike, and the traits, Hero Cosmic, Mutant Support, Uncanny X-Men. So this is really important, the support part. So if you are looking to get ISOs for Magik, then make sure you're farming up some support ISOs. And she is Cosmic, so kind of like Bishop. She is Cosmic, so this kind of breaks up when a lot of the Uncanny X-Men are global. So keep that in mind. Basic Soul Ward Strike. So attack primary target for and adjacent targets for 230% piercing. Clear 2 positive effects on the primary target. This is actually a pretty good basic. So I could see her using a Striker ISO possibly. It just depends on how many of your characters on the Uncanny X-Men, if you're using them, do have Raider or Skirmisher so that you can apply the vulnerabilities as needed. Special Demonic Might. Energy cost 7 out of 7. Attack all enemies for 300% piercing plus a flip immunity. Reduce the speed bar of the primary target by 30% and apply plus 10 charge up to a max of 20 to all chargeable Uncanny X-Men allies. So this is really important to helping characters like Storm and Cyclops get to their ultimate abilities faster. What I think also is the case, but don't quote me, I think this does actually add to Colossus. And we'll see as we get to the reworks for Colossus why I think this is the case. It wasn't confirmed, and I wasn't able to get a confirmation from the devs about this when we had our call about that. And this attack cannot be counterattacked. So this is available on turn 1. It has a really hefty energy cost, so this is primarily probably going to be used in an Alliance War context. Coming back around in something like Raids just really doesn't seem viable, but we'll see. Ultimate Limbo Strike, energy cost 1 out of 3, so this is available on turn 2. Has a pretty low cooldown though, all things considered. So bury yourself and all X-Men allies for 20% of this character's max health. So that gives some added survivability that a lot of them really need, especially characters like Cyclops and Storm, who tend to be pretty squishy. Clear Disrupted and ability block from self and all X-Men allies, so if that happens to happen, I don't know in which case this would be necessarily, but that is good too, right? Attack primary target for 450% damage, plus drain for 25%. Unfortunately, this is not a piercing attack, but this might do a decent amount of damage, but it is a single target attack. It is on a low cooldown though. Now her passive, Dark Child. This is where it's really important in relation to Phoenix. On spawn, bury yourself for 30% of this character's max health. So she's probably going to have some very high base stats, and unfortunately in this video, I don't actually know what her stat totals are going to look like, because we didn't get access, as far as I'm aware, to that sort of stuff. We didn't get to see what she looks like in the roster window. We didn't actually get any animations for her, which is a little bit disappointing, and I'm not sure why. So unless someone else got a special exclusive that we didn't, we'll have to see. When an enemy attacks an X-Men ally, gain 2 charged. If that ally is Colossus or Kitty Pryde, instead gain 3 charge up to a maximum of 20. So again, adding up those charges a lot quicker. At the end of any turn, if this character has 20 or more charge at the attack the enemy with the highest damage for 500% and lose all charge. That's more damage than the ultimate. So if she gets up to 20 charges, which she probably will at least once or twice a match, is going to blow off for a ton of damage. But it is only one person. On turn, if an ally Phoenix has died, and Dark Phoenix is currently not an ally, summon Dark Phoenix. This can only trigger once per match. So what can still happen, though, is this could trigger Kestrel's passive to block it. However, this is going to happen every single turn of Magik's turn, and so on that second turn, assuming that Kestrel's already taken a turn, her charges drop off, Magik will try to summon Phoenix again, and then that's probably where it's going to trigger. So if Kestrel is in that match, then it could block it once, but then on the next turn for Magik, it will actually summon. Gain 20% drain, X-Men allies get 20% drain and 30% armor, and Uncanny X-Men allies gain 30% armor. This is going to be pretty important, actually, when we look at the changes to the kit and the stats, and they really need that armor, so they're going to need that 30%. I also want to say that when you summon Phoenix via Magik, that you get the stats of Magik, not of the stats of Phoenix. So it's going to be based on a different stat total, including Magik's yellow stars and red stars, gear tier, and all of that. So it's not going to be taking the Phoenix. It depends on how she is summoned. So that is really important. So let's move on over to the kits, and we're going to talk about how the Uncanny X-Men has been changed a little bit. Alright, and here we are with the Uncanny X-Men changes. So, like I said, it's not huge, and we aren't seeing a change to Phoenix, unfortunately, and that's disappointing because we know that Phoenix actually doesn't take advantage of ISOs, so that part is really disappointing. Sorry, I mean, as far as Dark Phoenix goes, when Phoenix summons into Dark Phoenix, ISOs aren't taken into account there, so that's a little bit disappointing. And some clarifications that I realized I didn't say. I'm pretty sure how this works for Magik's kit, by the way, is that if Phoenix dies, she summons Dark Phoenix on her own. If Dark Phoenix dies again, Magik resummons Phoenix once per Dark Phoenix once per match. That's the impression I got, but I never, like I said, we haven't seen any gameplay footage, so I'm a little bit confused, but I thought that's how I kind of interpreted it to work. Let me know in the comments down below if you think my interpretation the interpretation is a little bit different, but it sounds like there's maybe a second chance to get Dark Phoenix, or in the sense that if Kestrel blocks Phoenix's original summon, that Magik will then bring it out on the next turn after that. So that's kind of how I saw it. Anyways, let's get on with the rework here. So Storm is seeing a significant increase to her base stats, her base armor by 62% here, and her health by 9%. Other than that, the new stuff is as below. So her Ice Storm, she can't be counterattacked. That's the only thing that was changed to her Ice Storm special. Her ultimate Storm of the Sentry. Now, if this character has 20 charges, this attack can no longer miss. So, I don't know if that's very significant either. However, I think it can't miss, but it can be evaded, right? So, evades still work. Just if any characters have dodge rates, then it can't miss. That's how I see it. Passive, Ride the Wind. So on turn, if Magik is an ally, you gain 3 charges up to a maximum of 20. So this is really going to push Storm's charges up significantly quicker. So not only is she getting, I mean, you know, if you're using her in a raid context, I suppose it's not on here. Her basic gives, 2 charges or something if Beast is there. Honestly, I forget the kit, and they should have included the basic part as well. But yeah, so if Magik is an ally on her turn, she's gonna get 3. She's gonna get like 10 more from Magik's skills and stuff like that. She's gonna have a lot. She's gonna have something like anywhere from 13 to 15 charges when she blows off right away. So that's good too. Everything else is the same. Cyclops' base stats, base health was improved by 10%. That's it. Yeah, that's all she wrote. So they didn't really seem to think, the developers didn't seem to think that the Uncanny X-Men really needed a significant amount of base stat increases. If you go and watch, or if you have already watched my Ravagers and T'Challa video, then you'll see that the Ravager minions saw a significant increase in their base stats, but Uncanny X-Men did not. So in terms of what's changed with him, his special got adjusted a little bit. So now it calls 2 random allies to each attack one of the previous enemies. Before, if you go back above, it would call an ally Wolverine and then an additional ally. So now we've kind of removed that aspect of Wolverine being in there. So it's just 2 random allies to attack the previous enemies. And this attack cannot be counterattacked. So again, this has been included into a lot of the text about counterattacking. It's passive. Team Synergy. On turn, if this character has 20 charged, gain 2 ability energy. So that's what has been changed. Now, people might think, well, okay, why would Cyclops have 20 charges and not blow his ultimate? And the reasoning, and we asked some questions here about towards the devs on this, and they told us that this was designed to be, if you wanted to spam Cyclops' special, possibly in a raid context, I don't know, that you could fill your ability energy much quicker towards that special. So the special is 5 out of 5. You would get, not only you would gain 1 for your turn, you would gain 2 for this thing if you had 20 charges. Now, what I would have loved to see would have been that the more charges you had, maybe his base damage just went up a little bit more, because it really seems a bit awkward. Like, I don't know why you just wouldn't blow off your ult for huge damage, but if you're trying to save your ability energy, or save your charges for whatever reason, yeah, you can use this special, and then on your next turn, you're going to get 2 ability energy as a result. That's the only thing I can tell you about this, because it was a bit of a strange addition, but that's the reasoning behind it from my understanding. So just to let people know about that one. And also on here, from an ally Wolverine, blah blah blah. When Phoenix or Dark Phoenix gets attacked, call an assist from an ally Wolverine or Magik. So Wolverine, you're probably not going to be using anymore, but Magik you will be. And then Magik gains increased damage for the assist on an ally Phoenix death, gain offense up, and then fill in ally Wolverine and Magik speed bar by 100%. So Phoenix dies, Magik gets a free turn. That's basically what's happening. Before, Wolverine got that free turn. Still does, but you're probably going to be using Magik instead. Let's talk about Colossus's changes. So he also saw a base health stat increase by 10%. It's not significant, but there's a few other changes to Colossus actually that's worth talking about when we get to it. So these are the old stuff. The new, it also includes Magik now. It says old, but the new stuff is down here. So the special altruism. If Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, or Magik is an ally, gain taunt for 2 turns. I actually didn't know that he only got a 1-turn taunt if Dark Phoenix was alive, but apparently that was the case, so now it's been changed. So if Dark Phoenix or Magik is an ally, when you use your taunt, which is very typical, you usually want to, at least in the Alliance War context, you typically want to save your taunt until after Dark Phoenix has been summoned, so that he properly taunts away from Dark Phoenix. So that will last for 2 turns, and Magik has been added to that. Now, the passive has seen a little bit of rework. So now you're getting piercing damage on the charge. The retaliation that happens when you hit Colossus, that now has been changed to piercing damage, and you get additional piercing damage per charge. And this part is new as well. On turn, if this character has more than 5 charges and is below 80% health, heal for 20% of this character's max health, and then lose 5 charges. So this is kind of what I was talking about with in relation to Magik's kit. Magik gives plus 10 charges to other allies, the Uncanny X-Men allies. I am not 100% sure if Colossus exceeds 5 charges, but this text makes it sound like it does. So I don't know. Let's hypothetically say that Colossus is at 5 for whatever reason, Magik adds 10, then he's maybe at 15, and then he'll lose charges, 5 charges, like twice, I guess, to heal himself if he's below 80% health. So he won't go below 5 charges, unless this activates at 5 charges as well. I'm not entirely sure about this. So we'll have to wait and see in combat, when the game goes live on the patch, to see whether or not this is accurate to the text or not, because we do know that sometimes there is text clarification that's needed in order to actually figure things out. And what has been increased on top of that is 30% max health and 30% max health for Uncanny X-Men allies. So this was improved by 15% from 15 to 30. So that is a little bit more survivability for the Uncanny X-Men team, on top of some of the buffs that passives come from Magik, the Magik passives. So that's important as well. And we'll talk about that when we look at the base stat charts. So do check this out if you need to, or pause it at certain segments if you need to go back and look at this. Otherwise, we're going to be jumping on over to the base stat increases, and I'll kind of share some tables with you there. Alright, so this is my Uncanny X-Men base stat increase chart. I did this in the kind of the same vein as my OG Spider-Man and Miles video, in case you guys did or didn't see that. So we're going to be taking this into context with level 85, gear 15, and 7 yellow, 5 red, blue, ISO 2. We're going to have a grand total of stats and see why this is important. That being said, there is not a lot of changes. There's only 1 or 2 changes per stat per character, so it's not significant. So we'll start off with Storm. That 9% health increase, it really doesn't make a significant total, and this is even if you actually, you know, take them all up to this level. Level 85, gear 15, 7 yellow, 5 red, blue, ISO 2. 362k health for Storm does not feel very significant. Now, I will say that, you know, she does get recipient of Colossus's 30% increase, so this will jump to just below 500k. But that being said, with that high of a level, it's pretty low. If you were to actually, you know, have this lower, you know, 4 red and green ISOs and, you know, gear 14, it would be a lot less of stats. Where things have increased, though, is the armor. We're looking at about 10,000 armor. Now, comparatively to Cyclops, it's about a little bit higher than Cyclops' armor. So where this might matter the most is actually going to be Magik's 25% armor bump, and that's going to be really important to have. And again, we're going to have to test this in-game to see whether or not this makes a significant difference to their survivability, because they're kind of squishy. Storm and Cyclops, the two of them, are very squishy. If you guys have used them in Alliance War, you know, there's a certain teams that I'll go up against and certain teams that I won't, because I know they're just going to get crushed. So I hope through the addition of Magik, not only are you getting the barrier from Magik, but you're also getting increased armor. I hope that's enough, but we'll have to really see how it is. So, notes, Storm armor's changes on par with slightly above Gamora, but the rest of the stats are not reflective. It's still very low. So keep in mind that the passive on Magik on turn, if Magik is an ally, gain 3 charged up to a max of 20, like I mentioned in the kit stuff. Let's talk about Cyclops really quick. So again, he only saw changes to his health, 10% health changes to about 380k. This is 7 yellow, 5 red, level 85, gear 15, ISO blue 2. In reference, this is like a Raider ISO, because this is just a very standard thing, just to give you an idea about the health stats. His damage is actually fairly respectable anyways, so this didn't actually need to be improved all that much. Now, his special calls in 2 random allies to attack rather than Wolverine, and so you know that's an improvement of +1. The passive at max 20 charges gains 2 ability energy every turn. We talked about this a little bit. The design philosophy seems to be to spam the special rather than consuming the energy with the alt. I don't entirely get this, but I asked about this, and that's what we were told. So, I want to talk about Colossus now, before we talk about the total team notes. So Colossus saw improvement of 10% health, but he also saw an improvement in his passive by 15%. So actually for Colossus specifically, this is a 25% increase in his hit points. And so again, with the same kind of levels, you know, 85, 5 red, 2 blue, you're getting about 540k, which is actually pretty respectable. So Colossus has seen a decent survivability bump in his hit points. So again, his passive hit points increases from 15 to 30% for himself and all Uncanny allies. On spawn, defense up to self and Uncanny with Magik as well instead of just Phoenix. The passive has the new heal mechanic, consuming more than 5 charges. I think this is in reference to Magik's special, but don't quote me because we've not been able to see footage of this in-game. Now, my final team notes, I have to say there's quite a lot. Magik provides 30% armor to the team. This is important for Storm and Cyclops, but let's see if that's enough for their survivability. There is no changes to Phoenix at all, no ISO changes to Phoenix, and no plans to do so in the near future either. Phoenix is still a 6-star unlock with Villain Mystic Controller, so it's a very player-unfriendly decision. It requires a lot of reliance on Phoenix, you know, making the decision to invest in this team very shaky, even with Magik. You know, the bare minimum is that you won't invest in this team without Phoenix. I think. I mean, we'd have to see. I just don't think, because you need to have Phoenix on the team to summon Phoenix with Magik or whatever. I just don't see you using this without Phoenix. Magik obviously brings in some much needed firepower for this team and well-rounded support. It doesn't feel like a good standalone character. She doesn't feel like a good standalone character for use outside of this team. Personally, maybe they might be able to beat Black Order. Hey, that might be nice, you know, for those of us who have Uncanny X-Men already leveled a bit. Magik helps to balance older characters to make them a little bit more on par, but not as necessarily as meta as some of the more recent teams. Uncanny X-Men appear to be more of a generalist team that isn't meant to counter any one specific team, but can do a little bit more than they did before. In War, you know, I don't see you using this team really a lot outside of War. My personal rating with Magik, I put a skeptical 3 out of 5. I'm not really super convinced these characters are going to be amazing, that this team's going to be amazing. I'm not sure if this is worth investing in, unless you've got a penchant for trying out new things in Alliance War. Otherwise, I don't see the magic in this rework, or, you know, or what did I say there, or whatnot. I think that's how I ended it. Or what this is really meant to do. Sorry, I didn't realize it was that long. I should zoom out. All right, let's zoom out. For newer players, probably avoid this and save your mutant gear. This could be a huge resource trap, and I can't stress this enough. Very often, Marvel Strike Force brings out characters, brings out teams, and then they bring out like better teams later on to, you know, kind of consume your resources early so you don't have enough, or you want to spend money on gear because you screwed up. So there could be something bigger and better coming our way for mutants. Do keep that in mind, and do consider that if you decide to invest in the Uncanny X-Men. I cannot guarantee that there won't be some more mutants in the near future, in the spring patch or whatever. So if you do this at your peril, if you're interested, just level Magik and slide her into your Uncanny X-Men and see how it works. Other than that, I can't honestly recommend this too much, but it might be interesting, and maybe we'll learn something when the patch comes out, when Magik gets released and things like that. Otherwise, yeah, that's everything for Uncanny X-Men. Not super convinced that they're great, but hey, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. That's the end of this update here. There's going to be another video talking about Ravagers and T'Challa on my channel, so do check that video out as well. That's a lot more exciting than this one is, in my opinion. But hey, maybe some people are really into X-Men, some people are really into Magik, and they might enjoy this. So, till next video, or next time I see you, stay healthy, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.